welcome everyone. We'll start our lesson 2. Today lesson will go through LO2 learning outcome 2. As you know me, my name is Anjum Satar, and if you have any question, you can drop me email anjum@ukversity.co.uk and also copy to admin as well. So
Yep,
we can pick emails accordingly. Okay, we'll start. So today lesson will go through LO2, which is about understand the policy context of education and training. Of course, the rules and policies carry on changing, and it's by law we have to follow these rules and policies. Those are in place. Depends whichever setting we work. So we'll go through those, and
Okay.
we look today lesson. Okay, so what do you understand by policy? So normally we can say we can set SOPs, standard operating procedures within the rules our own as an institution that suits us.
Sorry, what is SOPs?
It's a standard operating procedures.
Standard.
Operating procedures.
Sorry, I'm just going to make a note of that. Operating procedures. Okay, so that's SOP. Okay.
So policy is a law, regulation, procedures, administrative action, incentive, volunteer practice of government, which we can look around other organization, institution. Policy decisions are frequently reflected in resource allocation. Health can be influenced by policies in many different sectors. So we can look around many policies and procedures, which is education, skill development, council, and various other institutions carry on, and we have to be follow those, as a professional person.
Yep.
So what is the main purpose of the policies and procedures? Of course, we want to create a culture in our organization. People can clearly understand what their roles, what their responsibilities, and what we're supposed to do within those compliance procedures. So that help to healthy environment within our organization. Okay, so key terminology. What is the purpose of the policies and procedures? As we discussed, likely any organization, school need policies. Of course, policies in term of, let's assume if we have very close relatives studying and we teaching, so marking procedures, because that conflict of interest. So son, daughter, other one, and you teaching in the same school, in the same institution. We have clearly policy that shouldn't be marked the exam paper, that should be marked someone else. So
yeah, that makes sense.
So these different policies and procedures help them to run efficiently, and school policies source of various documents setting out the responsibilities. Of course, the behaviors, any special needs, uh, those, we have conflict of interest, all these, the policies normally in place. Education policies are created at national, state, and school levels. Of course, we have a local LEA policies, local authorities, and then of course, national level as well, which is happening, and those, to streamline and to run organization effectively. We are responsible for teaching and learning for the children in early years, in primary school teaching, as well as learning young in secondary or higher FE and HE. Apprenticeship, of course, apprenticeship, we have own policies. If you're apprentice, what rules are, like, giving time of 30% of the job on the job training record, knowledge, skills, and behaviors policies that we have in place as well. Traineeships and further education. So what is Current Education Act, which is 2011? Of course, a lot of section of it carry on changing, so which will carry on looking and exploring more in details. Okay, so what policy do school have to follow? The Department for Education is responsible for children's services. Education include early years, schools, higher and further education. So those are clearly policies in place in our organization, and those need to be reviewed. And of course, we have a Ofsted, always do inspection. So we have those things are in place. Yes.
Yep, that's fine.
So these are the just generic. Okay. Then LO2, which is understand the policy in context of education and training, recognize the key policy, regulation, and the framework, shape the education system. Of course, we have a lot of other legislation which we embedded if you're involved in recruitment and selection, like Equality Act 2010. Equality Act 2010. It's also very important legislation which we need to embed and follow accordingly. Regulation and the framework shape education system in the country. Policies are significant impact, practice and decision-making processes in the field of education. Below, I will provide an overview of the policy context of. We have Education Act, we have assessment qualification, we have inclusion special education needs, SCN, of course, you know very well. So teaching and training and professional standards, funding and resource allocation, higher education, and further education, vocational education, of course, the grading criteria and all are quality assurance and inspection. Okay, so Education Act, the foundation of education policies in the UK. We old act is 1996 in England, for example, outline the legal framework, compulsory education, including responsibility of local authorities and the parents. Of course, those involved all should be aware of, these policies. Inclusion and special needs, policies related to sports student with the special education needs. We have registered in place. Of course, within that, who's authorized to access the information. Of course, within that, we can look around GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, not uh, passing information to third party. Yeah. These, all policies which we need to be. Curriculum framework. Yes, each UK nation has own, curriculum, of course, which we can look on England, Wales, and Scotland. And those are, different key stages and curriculum for excellencies, which we can look around those and we can embed, in our assessment and the assessment plan, we can make it accordingly as well. Assessment and qualification policies related to assessment and qualifications are the crucial, which we can look around, like, standardized testing, SATs, and general, certificate education, GCSEs, A levels, and all, different awarding bodies as well. And those are, of course, approved by the Ofcol. And teacher training and professional standard, regulation of the teacher training, establishment, professional standard for educators, an important aspect of the education policy, which we can look around. TRA, which is Teaching Regulation Agency, GTC, which is General Teaching Council, play the role in the maintain teaching standard. That's why if you want QTLS, QTS, QTLS, those, reflection, training records and all, your CPD records need to be submitted accordingly, and the policies are in place. So policies recording the funding and the resource allocation center functioning or educational institutions set, of course, like, organization, parent governors and board and all, these are very crucial things, which is we have policies in place as well. So higher education policies, tuition fees, student loans, and university. Yeah. So these all, the fund allocation which we can, of course, a lot of other funds nowadays is a deprived areas, like, some areas where education is quite low and employment opportunities are low. So the government is putting a lot of emphasis and the funding is available in those areas as well. Okay, so which we can look around these, the funding, higher education. And as an institution, we have to look around these policies because it's quite crucial, because in terms of where funding will come from and how we can claim, these extra, of course, achievement funds as well, which we can claim some money. So further education and training policies related to further education colleges, which we can look around Scottish Funding Council in England and Scotland as well, and we have a lot of other funding as well. Early years and early education policies, uh, including nurseries, preschool setting, focus on, of course, nowadays we can look around because, of course, now universal credits and the payments and pre nurseries and all, new policies which we need to be carry on regular reviewing depends, nature of our role, and we need to follow those accordingly. So quality assurance and inspection policy related to inspection qualities in the colleges carried out organizations such Ofsted and various other off-call as well is the regulators which we can in school as well as in higher education. To understand the policies in context of education and training, the UK is essential for educators and policymakers. It's involved in staying informed about the current policies, changes, and development that shape, education. Of course, now we have a T levels, like in education, we should be aware of, what new teaching frameworks are coming, and we need to make the policies for curriculum, resource allocation, and trainings. Yes, because that's the government emphasis more towards training and the funding. Okay, then we have a 2.1, which is explain ways in which social, political, and economic factor influence education policy. So we have a lot of the influence from external environment, and due to, and that's the government carry on making policies to address social economic uh, keeping in view of social economic factors, and those are huge influence on education policy. Social factor, demographic, yes, which we can look around the population, including age, ethnicity, social, economics background, affect education policies. Increasing school age, population maybe require the construction of the new schools, hiring more teachers, like the government funding toward the teachers, especially science teachers shortage, and of course Halloween bonus and various other fundings. So public opinion, of course, social attitudes and the public opinion on the various educational issues such as standardized testing, curriculum content. A lot of the prime minister saying, "Come on, we need to change." A lot of changes in schools, like teaching 5 subjects instead of 3 in A levels. So a lot of discussion going around at the moment, new policies, and politicians, of course, take the sentiments into account when shaping policies. Cultural values, yes, of course, which we need to be look around, like such as we discussed about the British value in the previous lesson. So those need to be embedded as well within our internal as well external policies. Social inequalities, yes, addressing the social inequalities, ensuring equitable access of education to the key social factor. Any question, please, if you have?
No, I'm okay so far.
Okay. And then we can look around political factors, of course, government priorities, different political agendas. Maybe like, school make academies, and then saving those sites are grammar schools, that anyone has the opportunity to go these grammar schools. In the past, these used to be paid ones. Uh, so everyone providing the equal opportunities in a way. So different, the government priorities in a different aspect of the education, such as early childhood education, vocational training, and higher education. Logical belief, which we can look around political parties that the leaders can shape the education. conservative and liberal government may have different views on the issues like school choices, curriculum contents, and the teacher accountability. Legislative decisions, parliamentary and legislative decision can lead to amendment of education related laws and regulations. Uh, Sectoral consideration, education policy decision can be influenced by politicians. Maybe the purpose of the policy is to popular among the students to gain the support. Of course, it's a huge influence. Uh, Other is the economic factors is play the key roles as well. Budget, like if we as a economics growth is happening, of course, that's a huge money can be more injected into the education system, which we can look around those and labor market needs, because a lot of things are changing and the demand of digital skills, especially. So the government making the policy towards the digital and providing, a lot of funding on those lines as well, because that help, to from early in school learning these, the new digital or vocational programs and skills. So globalization, of course, is a huge impact, which we can look around, of course, outside EU and within EU and the new funding. Uh, an economic factor can drive the policies related to the international education. Of course, then there's a school exchange program like with Japan and various other countries, summer holidays, summer schooling, and these are quite and learning from different experience. Cost of education, affordability of education for student families is an economics factor, and policies related to the tuition fees, student loan, and financial aids are the influenced by the economic consideration. Yes, which we can look around. And it is important to be known the factors that impact and leading to the complex policy decision sometimes can be, because sometimes some courses maybe need to be phased out and replacing with the new funding that can be keeping in view of the opportunities, employment, and the student loan, how we can recover. That's why the government increasing uh, the student loan can stay until retirement. The age, that's because in the past that wasn't in. So we can look around these all the factors, social, political, economic factors, the crucial for policy makers, which we can, and these, they are making policy accordingly. Okay, then we have a 2.2, impact of current educational policies and curriculum and practice in your own specialist area. So here we can look around whichever area you work, we work. So we need to be look around higher education, which in my area of specialism, like maybe in math, in science, in other subject areas, special needs fund. So these, the we can look around those policies. Yes. So widening participation policies, research excellence framework.
Sorry, can I just ask what TEF stands for?
Oh, it's a teaching excellency framework.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we can look around the teaching excellency framework, impact curriculum. TEF is a policy aimed to be assessing, rewarding the quality of teaching in higher education institution. It has influenced the curriculum development, emphasizing the importance of providing high quality student centered teaching. Universities are encouraged to align their curriculum with the we have a lot of issues in especially in higher education, because the higher education lot of assessment is used to be just assignment based. Now we have chat gbt. ChatGPT is the software, of course, is self-writing. Any topic you type, it give you all the answers. So that's the lot of universities changing teaching these the curriculum according to more focusing on exam, research oriented, not just only assignment. So let's at the end, before just a short interviews or giving them short questionnaire. So that will, increase the credibility of the degree. And these are, so we can look around the student satisfaction, employment outcomes, and teaching
So
quality.
in so in this section here, I'm just looking at, I've got the assignment in front of me. So would I look at my area of specialism would be SEN?
Yes, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah. So then I'd need to find kind of the policies and laws that apply particularly to that to explore in this area of the assignment. Is that correct?
Yes. So just a few legislation which is you think is a crucial to follow. That can be examples.
Okay.
So impact on practice. Yes, educators in higher education have been encouraged, to adopt the pedagogical practices enhance, So a lot of, is we need to be more learner-centered approach, more independent learning, embedding in teaching more research, constructive feedback, improve the learning experience, and widening participation policies, impact on the curriculum, aims to be widening participation in higher education as influence curriculum design to make more inclusive, accessible, and universities are encouraged to offer flexible learning options like blended learning, uh, distance learning, and various other way of learning. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
support the services to students from the diverse background. This may have include the curriculum which we can look around, such as online blended learning, accommodate different learning style. Of course, that those are crucial, especially in apprentices as well, and even in any course really. Impact on the practice, educators are expected to be mindful of diversity, inclusions, differentiation. Really, we can look around meeting the needs of all the learners and embedding, resources are designing in a way, are doing the activities, those will help them, to learn. And inclusive teaching method address, diverse student needs. Okay, so Research Excellency Framework, REF, impact on the curriculum, assess, the research qualities of universities, has indirect effect on the curriculum design. Institution with a strong research profile may prioritize the research-led teaching. Normally in universities, you only teach 8 hours. Rest of the time, you just focus on the research and the research finding embed in your teaching. So most of research university they teachers only teach 8 hours a week. So integrating the latest, the research finding into curriculum, and this can lead to the more up to date, and the research informed content. Of course, the research paper is carry on, and of course, research will carry on doing. So impact on the practices, educators are encouraged to engage in the research activities, and we can enhance their teaching practices. And this emphasis linking research and teaching and provide, with their educational experience to students. This may involve educators incorporating their own research into the teaching, which, of course, especially in higher education, especially, and quality assurance and teaching standard, impact on the curriculum, quality assurance policies ensure uh, meet the predefined standard of quality, relevance, and these policies can lead to the curriculum reviews and alignment with the national and international standards. Of course, we have those standards in place, and we can look on impact on the practice. Educators are required to align their teaching practices with the national and institutional teaching standard. Of course, as an institution, policies should be in place and regular review. And this may involve, undergoing the teaching observation, like you have a peer observation within, and we have record for it. And participating in the professional development, yes, of course, professional development courses, teacher training days, and those, which we can. and engaging the reflective practice. Of course, reflective practice is a crucial, and that's the most of the institutions have a policies in place, continue to improve teaching quality. So in summary, current educational policies in the UK include TEF, REF, and the quality assurance standard have a significant impact on the curriculum practice in the higher education. The policy drive the changes of curriculum design, pedagogical approaches, which we can, integration of the research into the teaching. That's high quality, inclusive, and research informed education to their students. Yes, that's especially even in schools quite link. Like recently, various school they are offering graduate uh, day for the kids to just to persuade them the university. So they wearing the gown, and universities are inviting students from schools, just giving their sense of and how, and of course that's help universities to be participate and contribute as well in research and informed research. That's all from my end. Any question, please, if you have? Welcome.
So the references on the list, is that all stuff that I'm going to be able to access online?
Yes, these are all the research journal. If we want to access, we can. Yeah, so we can copy these, and we can access from Google Scholar as well as the various other sources.
So all them I'll be able to access. That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you
Okay.
if you want any of them you want to further read, you can as well.
Yeah, no, but it's just to make sure that I can access them, and you don't need to be sometimes when you're trying to log into, like when I was at university, I was able to access all the journals through the library. So I was just making sure that when I type, for example, that first reference, Brown and Jones, and the title, that will bring up the article or the book online.
Yeah, it's all online, so it's
So it's
accessible.
all there, and there's no restrictions or anything. I should be able to access that material.
Yes,
Okay.
according. So, but if anything you think need to, I can download as well. I can send you separately.
Well, obviously, I'll have a look, and if there's anything that I'm having trouble with,
Yes,
obviously I'll let you know.
sorry. Many thanks. And any other question?
No, I think I'm all right so far.
Okay, thanks for attending to this session. Next week we'll go through our LO3.
Yeah,
And
brilliant.
have a lovely evening.
I'll try.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Anjum.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.